What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense, and surprisingly, we're about to get into a lot of stuff, and it ain't messy. I don't think there was a messy spin on this, but this was a really great interview between Carlos and Funky, and we got to talk about it. Whew, I had to bring back an oldie but a goodie.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. I want to make it make one.
Big moves. Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
I remember when Candy Hair used to look like this. I fly above. I fly above. I fly. No, that want you. No, I fly above.
Okay, we're gonna start off with this because this is literally what got me into watching Funky Dineva videos. Shout out to Blue. This person was in the chat saying we're going to Mims live after this because we know it's coming, and you was right. It's coming and it's here. Somebody else asked me a question because I sent some super chats during this interview. I guess like if you're not a content creator, you don't understand the importance of super chats. Yes, it's great because it's some extra money for you, but it also shows YouTube that people have a vested interest in you. So it really helps the content creator. So if you see me in other people's chats, I will send super chats, even if it's like $2 or $5, just to, throw some support their way, whether they need it or not. We all know Carlos is rich and his African is probably rich too. And, whatever. We've seen Carlos's house. Not the point. So Funky Dineva did a really great interview. I'm going to link that interview in the description of this interview so that you guys can check it out, because it was a lot of good information about Funky. A lot of people probably didn't know that Funky had been taken advantage of when he was a teenager by somebody that was very adult. The interview was really good. And I know that the needle does not move a lot when it comes to a lot of content creators. People either love you or they hate you. So all I can say is I think that you guys should check the interview out. I thought it was a really great interview. This interview with Funky and the interview with Takara, I would say are two of Carlos's King's best interviews. I really want Takara from Top Model to be on the show. But let's start off with this, because this is, like I said, how I first saw Funky.
God, bitch, this is Funky Dineva reported live on the scene for Yes God Action News. Nessa girl is hot as hell out here in Atlanta, honey. That's why I had her tie my hair up, bitch. She had to gave me a nasty bun, bitch. Okay, my hair is laid like Shakita Banana, bitch. Yes God, honey. Come on and follow me. We are live on the scene of Chateau Cheray. Honey, it's in the making. And let me tell you something. I've always said, never throw shade to the bitch that's holding.
Okay. Anyway, I thought this was hilarious. Not the point. Definitely check out that interview. But this interview with Funky today, there's 3 sides to every story, and then we got the third side. And he did not hold back.
If I left anybody's name, and I don't want y'all to think I'm being shady, I'm going to be very honest with you, Carlos. I do not watch other YouTubers at all.
Oh, I know that for a fact.
I don't at all.
You never have, though.
I don't, and believe it or not, I don't consume YouTube content. I don't. And people are always like, why? And it's.
I put this part in because we're going to get into Tea-GIF in a second. I put that part in because I don't consume a lot of content creators. Unless I really know you personally, you probably won't see me in a lot of other people's chats unless I really know you personally. And then I do my best to, jump in, send a super chat, say something, troll my friends, and move on. Case in point, Color Me Pink is one of my favorite content creators, but I cannot watch her stuff because I don't want to pick up on some of the funny things that she says. So I used to watch her religiously, and I just can't watch her like I used to because you don't want to take somebody's catchphrase or something that they said that you thought was hilarious. Nothing personal. It's just, it's harder when you become a content creator.
For several reasons. My brain is a sponge. Okay. Everything that comes out of my mouth are things that I've picked up from just my life experiences. And I never want to be on my platform and then end up like saying your catchphrase or.
Ray said, I see you in other people's chats. Yeah, people I like really personally know. And then, you know, sometimes YouTube will send me a small content creator and I'll click in. I think they're funny. I'll send a super chat. I'll subscribe. But in terms of like some of my like faves, like Color Me Pink, I just can't watch like I used to because I don't want to pick up on. She's very funny.
Saying other people's stuff. That's the main reason why I don't look at a lot of other YouTubers. And then too, like, because we all are in this pop culture world, after I do my piece on it, I really don't care what you got to say about it. I'm moving on to the next thing. But there's a lot of talent in the YouTube space. And then there's a lot of people who need to go sit their ass the fuck down. There's a lot of people who just need to go sit the fuck down. But I would love to see like Bondi Blue blow up. She's from New Orleans. I just love everything. And this situation came out when he was in the running. Like, we definitely did have several conversations, and I just, like, do this.
Advice or
no. Granted, we don't have a big brother, little brother relationship, and give him all the things that he deserves. See, like Bondi Blue blow up. She's from New Orleans. I just love everything that she's got going on. I would.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
I would. Too. She is. Yeah. I would like to see Arman mature a little bit so he can really get everything that the universe has for him. And you know, I'll say it on camera because I'll say it to his face. Arman, you do need to grow up a little bit. You need to grow up a lot of bit. And I think once he grows up a little bit and matures, I think that the universe is definitely going to open up and give.
Now, this is why I said I did not feel like this was messy. I feel like Funky Dineva, in giving Arman any kind of critique, is a very tenured content creator telling somebody who they think is up next to be the next big thing. I mean, technically, when Funky and even my friend who was a really big content creator at the time, under the name was Africano Boy, even with these type of people, this was like the early onset of YouTube. We don't know how far YouTube can take people. Honestly, guys, we don't technically know where it could go. So Funky might be able to do this into his 60s and 70s, or, you know, as long as he wants to do it and his fan base is there for him. When we say up next, it just means your channel could probably grow and pop overnight. So both him and Carlos are agreeing that Arman has something and potential to be really big.
Give him all the things that he deserves.
Why do you think he needs to grow up? In what aspect? Have you seen him say that?
Just from like an older person once being young. You know what I'm saying? It's not one particular thing or another. It's just you know, there's just a small, from my perspective, it's just a small maturity factor that is missing. You know, coupled with obviously, you know, some things that I know that kind of transpired in the background with Fox Soul and all that type of stuff. There's just a maturity piece there. And this is not a read or not to be messy, but no. Arman, and I'm telling you this, it's kind of like, you know, granted, we don't have a big brother, little brother relationship, but if I could be in this space, a big brother, like once he's got it, he's got the stuff.
Baby,
Arman's got the stuff.
Arman has next.
He's got the stuff.
And as two gay black men in this business who are successful, I agree. I think
he's definitely got it.
He has it. He has it.
He's got to
He's
grow
very
up.
talented. Have you? Well, let me go backwards. Has he ever just reached out to you for advice or
no? So he interviewed. So we met once because he interviewed me once. He came down to Miami. And so that's kind of how we fostered our relationship. And then when the Fox Soul situation came out, when he was in the running, like we definitely did have several conversations. And I just, you know, like, do this, do that. You should ask for this. You shouldn't ask for that. You know, here is the lay of the land type of thing. And I definitely, I will say this. I feel like in that situation, I did for him what I would want someone to do for me at a job. Like I was like, here is the official handbook to how to do the job. And then here is the unofficial.
This is one of the reasons why I chose to do this video. it is very difficult to get into a space like YouTube and not have people who have been there, done that, made mistakes, excelled at certain points, give you any type of heads up. So what Funky did for Arman, I would say a big content creator who really supported me and has always been extremely nice and gave me advice would be Layla Lynn. Super dope content creator, definitely solidified. And to some degree, I try to do that for other people. So I saw somebody in the chat saying that Funky and myself were two of the reasons that she started YouTube. And that makes me feel good because there's space for everybody. So I told you, I mean, it might get a little messy, but I told you that the point of this video is not to be messy. There were very valid points made, and he does get into the Foxhole stuff.
Official handbook. Here is all the backstory. Stay away from this bitch. Don't talk to this one. Watch what you say in front of this one. Ask for this, ask for that. Don't do this, don't do like. I literally gave him all of my experience. I poured into him because I would want somebody to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So that has been our relationship. We're not like super close and we don't talk on the phone, but I would do that for anybody that was coming in behind me. When I made my departure, I wanted that show to succeed. I did. I just ain't want to work there no more, but I wanted the show to succeed. And I knew that they needed somebody. I knew that they were going to try to mimic my energy. I knew that for a fact. But they couldn't, you know, so don't even waste your time trying, but they.
I knew they were going to mimic my energy, or they tried, but they can't. So don't try to find my replacement. Is basically what it was giving. Don't even try.
They needed somebody who was brazen, cavalier, not afraid to speak. And I felt like of all the people in the YouTube landscape, he or T.S. Madison were the best ones. Madison was unable to do it for whatever her reasons were.
Now, I can tell you from what I've heard that is very true. The thought was Arman doesn't necessarily mince his words. Arman has a feeling and says it. And that is definitely an attribute that Funky has plus. So even when it came to me being on Foxhole or potentially getting a week, you know, it did come back to me about what some of the notes were about me. And I would think it's fair. I thought that Arman was a good fit if you needed somebody from the YouTube space to replace Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva is brazen and has a very clear point of view and does not mind saying it. And so does Arman. So technically, to me, it made sense.
Was Madison asked first before Arman?
Yes, from my understanding, yes. Not from my understanding, yes, she was. Or whatever. And it schedule conflict and the money wasn't right.
Okay.
So she turned it down.
Why were you so unhappy?
T.S. Madison is on syndicated television. The thought that, because Funky Dineva is definitely solidified in the YouTube space. T.S. Madison is solidified in the television space. If you were going to replace one star with another, then technically the money should have been the same. So I do not fault T.S. Madison for not taking the job. Why would you if the money wasn't going to be the same from one star to another? Both, if you go to Madison's page or you go to Funky's page, their numbers remain constantly really good. So that's not even bullshitting with you. That's one plus two is always going to equal 3. And C is always going to come after A and B, right?
B at Tea-GIF. Because from the outside looking in, because we've known each other for almost 20 years, I know my sister, and I said, oh, this bitch got a job where he gets to clock in for an hour, read the girls, get a check. And because the biggest thing for you that I know.
When I heard about Funky's salary and the rest of their salaries at $250 a year with only like a 45 minute production meeting and then 1 hour on for $250, and I don't have to remove one article of clothing. I don't have to do a walk of shame the next day. I don't have to go to confession. And I'm gonna still be able to look my mama in the eyes. I would have made it work.
Personally, is you value your freedom.
Yeah.
You love freedom.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is a good opportunity for him. Like text you like, bitch, this is actually good.
Yeah.
And I was always proud to guest co-host with you, or when you have to do other things. Yeah. Just so y'all know, when he had to do other stuff and couldn't be on, he would refer me, or sometimes they would ask him like, you okay if Carlos do it? So I want y'all to know, like, this is what support looks like. You're not somebody like that, bitch. I don't want to, you know, Wendy Williams is so popular. Like, I don't want nobody taking my second bitch.
Yeah, see, I was never one of those.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. And if you're a Wendy watcher, you can tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments section. I felt like Wendy pushed so hard for Jerry McConnell to get that seat because Jerry in no way would be something that would last. There would be no space for him to come in. You know, he's a Caucasian male of a certain age and just kind of goofy. Wendy is biting, and Wendy does not give a F. I felt like she really wanted and really pushed for him to get the seat whenever she would not be there, as a means to make sure that her seat would always be there when she wants to come back.
Types of girls, because you know, it's just, you know, I'm good at what it is I do, and you know, other people are good, and I'm just not like that. But
why were you so unhappy? Because I thought it was like, this is a good gig.
The infighting, and the just every damn day you came to work, it was fucking something, and it's just like, it's like, bitch, we only got to be on this shit for an hour and a half. I'm just not understanding why a motherfucker cannot just read the goddamn topics, come to work, do what we need to do, log the fuck out, and that just be that. You know what I'm saying?
It's business.
Things got personal. People's feelings started getting intertwined. And to be clear, and I'm not speaking out of turn because Claudia spoke about it when she was on your thing. The shit didn't have nothing to do with me. It was a lot of, you know, just me being caught in between.
Sorry, not to go on a tangent. Mr. Dubois says, I can see that, Mims. Makes sense why she was that way towards Sherry. Wendy was shitty towards Sherry, talking about her shape. Now, I love Wendy, but I didn't see anybody going to the doctor saying, I want to look like Wendy Williams. So the fact that she talked about the woman's shape, talked about the fact that she wouldn't be able to hold people's attention, and now Sherry's what, like 2 years in? Just let me be messy. What Sherry, or what Wendy was trying to do with Sherry, is what a lot of these YouTubers and people in this entertainment space, especially the commentary space, do to each other consistently. They backbite. They will throw slugs, subliminals out. They will give information to subscribers who pass that shit along. Everybody cannot be trusted. It wasn't just Wendy. I'm telling you guys, everybody on YouTube, whether they smile, that does not mean that they see it for the next person. So the fact that Funky even sat there and gave Arman tools and strategies he could use and implement, not only for Fox Soul or for, you know, future growth, is dope, because a lot of people will not do that. A lot of larger content creators who've been in the game for a long time don't even feel like they get enough of their flowers. You don't have to give me no flowers because I can't eat that. I can't buy nothing with that. God will give me my flowers later in life for the right things that I do on earth now. But a lot of large content creators expect their flowers or expect like a bow down. And that's rule number one. You see what I said about Layla? That's because that's what I experienced about Layla. She doesn't even like when I say stuff like that, but that's the truth. Sorry, I had to go off on a tangent.
Her and Al, whatever the fuck they had going on. And it was dumb. It was dumb to me. Okay. And so let me give you the recipe for why I walked. Number one, like you said, bitch, I ain't had no job in 13 years. Okay. Q don't work. So the fact that I got to now punch a goddamn clock every day, that's already a compromise, right?
And not to stop you, you also are a solo star. So coupled with clocking in, you have to work with people.
Well, I didn't mind that. I like
but meaning, because I know what this feels like. Meaning, you call the shots. You can say what you want to say, but when you have to work with people, their shit becomes your shit.
Right. And you're right. And so you're right, because and then now I'm having to, take into consideration other people's feelings and rules and corporate protocols and procedures and all this type of stuff, whatever. So it's like, okay, number one, I knock on wood, I already don't need the job. Okay. I don't need it. Now, great. $250,000, bitch. Everybody could use an extra $250,000.
Everybody.
But I don't need it. Number one. So I'm not finna be stressed for it. I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? And it just became, I'm already working every day, Monday through Thursday, 2 shows on Thursday. Then we log on. It's a shitstorm every damn day. It's something. It's a call here, an email this. This person said that. I'm feeling this way. It was too much damn.
Now, he ain't lying about that, because that's what I heard. It was a lot of issues between production, and there was a lot of issues between production and the talent, and there was a lot of HR type things going on.
Feelings, okay? And then the last piece was just the negotiation piece. It was like, I don't know what job you work on, at what Starbucks job. They say, Carlos King, we're going to start you at $7 an hour part-time. And then they come back and say, guess what, Carlos? We like you so much, we're going to promote you to full-time, but we're going to cut your pay to $5.15. How is it last week my value was $7? You like me, we're bringing the company in more money, you want to promote me, but you want to cut my pay. That just, what world does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? And so I was down to rock with it, because it's all about, I'll work with you. Again, I don't need the money. It's good extra money. I will work with you and see what.
Now, Funky had already told us this. It did come down for him to an issue of how he felt that they valued him and not willing to cut his rate. So we all heard that part already.
This thing will become. So when, Tracy when Tracy was negotiating the deal, the people came back and said, listen, Tracy, we still trying to get things going over here. Just work with us. This is what we'll do. Instead of making Q sign for 12 months, we'll make him sign for 6 months. And then at the end of 6 months, we'll see what things are and we'll negotiate. Now, here is where the insult comes in just a little bit, and where I felt slightly insulted.
Somebody said, please don't bring up Sean. Let me tell you, people may not like Sean. However, the stuff that Sean told me was what it was. Now, well, I'm a different kind of content creator. I don't purposefully try to, that's a lie. I was about to say I don't try to take anybody down. I do feel like Diddy is one person who I just don't like. So y'all might get Diddy content until he's arrested, because I just don't like him and I feel like he's abusive. And I do say some pretty, I guess, disparaging things about people who I feel are abusers. Shout out to the member of the money team who reached out to me, who wanted me to correct the fact that Floyd can read and Floyd can do well. This person is also a straight shooter, and sometimes when I say things, sometimes I'm here and I'm just talking to you guys and I forget that this is for public consumption and anybody can hear it. And so yes, Floyd can read, and Floyd can read well. So they wanted me to let you guys know that as a correction.
Because I was going to walk then. I was going to walk then. I was cool. So you bait me by saying, just do it for 6 months, work with us a little bit, and we'll kind of see what things are. When the 6 months roll around, I had even forgot my damn contract was up. All of a sudden, they're hounding me about, oh shit, your contract. Are you going to sign? Then when you email us the contract, it's the same contract from 6 months prior. I understand. It's their job to negotiate. It's our job to negotiate. Okay. I was not asking for additional money. I wasn't asking for extra money. I was asking for what you had already been paying me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I was asking for, the $250 an episode that you took away from me. And mind you, y'all, if I'm being honest, the deal fell apart over $250. Ain't that the petty of it all? The deal fell through over $250.
So a lot of people had questions about this in this chat. They were saying, how why would that happen? He wasn't saying just $250 added to his check. He meant $250 per episode. So he was making $1,250 per episode. They wanted him to do more episodes, but his rate would go down to $1,000. So basically, he would be working an extra day almost for like free, or not for free, but he would not be making what he normally made. And sometimes you really do have to stand your ground, because people will try to barter. They will try to reduce your rate. And in this space, and I've said this multiple times, it has nothing to do with the fact that I've watched Funky for so long. When Funky wins or upgrades or does something that no other YouTuber has done, it opens the doors for other YouTubers such as myself. That's just in any space. So I know a lot of people don't necessarily like Funky, but when I say, he moved the needle forward. Funky Al and Claudia with that show moved the needle forward. They were making the blogs, and that was just based off their commentary. That does not happen at the rate that it happened with Fox Soul. So to think that just giving your commentary while still being able to have your own channel and make whatever money or do whatever you want to do in that lane or whatever other career, you could make $250,000. That is aspirational, or it should be aspirational for any of you guys who are trying to start your channels. And if you were thinking about starting a channel today, as Funky continued to tell us, he makes about $600,000 a year, roughly between what, 400 to 600. If there was ever a time to start your channel, it would be now. Somebody mentioned Jason Lee just now. Jason Lee is now, well, he's switched things up. Jason is not as messy. Jason is not who we saw on. Jason is not who we saw, throw that drink in Hazel E's face. It's not the same guy. He's now what a commissioner or city council of Stockton, California. He's hosting his award show with Cardi B and Rihanna showing up. All of these people move the needle forward to what can be. Let's say I get a television show or I get something else. It moves the needle forward for everybody else who's coming behind me. So you don't have to like Funky to acknowledge that something big that happens for him could potentially happen for the next person because of him.
How?
Because my rate originally was $1,250. Mm-hmm. They cut us to $1,000. I just wanted the $250 back, which at the end of the year across the contract would have been $60,000 in total. You know what I'm saying? And so then it was one of those things where it was like, okay, if you can't give him the $250, can you at least put him on the health insurance? And the people wouldn't even put me on the health insurance. You know what I'm saying? So
your other co-hosts?
No. Okay. Nobody was. Nobody was. But it's like, and granted, I don't know the ins and outs, but from where I sat, I'm like, Fox is a big ass corporation. To put one more name on the damn spreadsheet for health insurance, the number's going to be so damn small, you're not even going to recognize it. Like, what's another $200 a month to the damn company? And it was just like, okay, you won't even put me on the health insurance. I was like, yeah, I don't feel valued here. That's really what it was. I was like,
Now I would have a problem with that. I have been on Obamacare and I have been off Obamacare. I can tell you that although it's great to have insurance when you're on Obamacare, it's not a good feeling when your doctor says, I don't take that, or your dentist says, I don't take that. If Fox was not giving them health care, that's crazy. It's almost like you're still an independent contractor. Chanel wants y'all, I'm not putting this on the screen, but Chanel wants you to know that she has the lady special friend that Funky had in that video. So I guess you shop with Candy. Because I think that was some candy-coated vibrations going on that Funky had in his hand.
Don't feel, damn, I can't even get on the health insurance. I was like, all right, well, cool. And they just did not want to budge. And I was like, cool, I'm out. And, you know, it sucks because, you know, unfortunately, the show ended up going away. And I just look back at it and I wonder if the people in charge look at the person who was responsible for like negotiating my contract, and it's like the whole thing went to shit over $250 or your unwillingness to give them fucking health insurance. And the whole thing literally went to shit. That show went to shit for no reason. It didn't have to.
So my question would be, if I were talent on that show, did the production get health insurance, or was everybody just an independent contractor? Now that I don't know. I heard a lot, but I don't know about that. That's pretty detailed.
So going back a little bit, you obviously talked about a lot of infighting. Obviously, everyone has said, even Claudia to me, that you had nothing to do with what was going on. What in your, whether it's what you know or
Oakland,
think,
okay. No,
what was it between Claudia and Al that just made things so negative working at that time?
I don't know. I don't know, because I know that they had a long-standing relationship for years prior. Carlos, honestly, I don't know. I honestly do not know. You know, there was an incident, and this.
Now y'all know. My ears perked up. You said an incident? What happened?
It's just from me, like,
we're messy,
piecing together things from all the blogs and stuff. There was an incident where Claudia got a screenshot of a text message from Al, and in the text message he had said, and I'm only speaking about this because she's made it be known, because I don't want to be in nobody's mess. She got a screenshot from Al where he had said something unfavorable about her to Nene Leakes. Okay. And it got back, you know, Claudia saw it, and that at that time had created a big shitstorm, and we got through it. So I thought. And the reason why I say so I thought.
Now that perked my ears up. They got, let me see if I can show. That's when they got a I think they got a super chat from me at that point. Al and Nene and Jennifer Williams from Basketball Wives are really good friends, like in real life. At what point would it be okay for Nene to give her phone to somebody who took a screenshot and put that information out? Or if Nene screenshot what Al had to say about Claudia and sent that out? Nene don't even F with Claudia like that. She don't like nobody that wears sketty straps. So why the hell did that information get out? And let's not play this game of you don't say shit behind like behind closed doors. It's called kitchen table talk. You should be able to talk to your friends about stuff. There should never be a time where you feel like your friend would in any way relay anything to anybody else that is not you. I know for a fact that those two are real friends in real life, I would have to question that friendship. But it was messy and it was juicy. Now, what got out, and this wasn't even what I heard. This wasn't anything that was like something that I heard and I released this information. Allegedly, there was times that like a screenshot or something got sent out from Claudia talking about Funky's house being dirty or something to that effect. And I'm just sitting here like, I think I talked about this before. I'm like, I don't give a good goddamn. Pay me my money. Go ahead and just pay me my goddamn money. If you don't F with me, you don't like me, I'm okay with that. Cut the check. Cut the check. That's all I need. In any situation, I have a coworker right now. Woman was absolutely horrible to me. I will hopefully be doing a story time at some point about this coworker. So y'all remind me, it's going to be, this woman made my life hell from the first day that I got there. She felt like I was overqualified for the job. She did not like that everybody was pulling me into doing, like special projects and stuff like that. This woman hated me. And I don't necessarily pray for people's downfall, but I'll tell you the story time. But anyway, the point is, I remember when I met Funky Al and Claudia, they had this kind of like very friendly demeanor towards one another, but there were moments where they just kind of like read each other and it wasn't even on camera. And I just felt like, okay, well, they're real friends. And in any situation, real friends might say something like, oh, Mims didn't fold his clothes today. I mean, like that, I would hope that kind of like petty stuff did not end the job for three people who were moving the needle forward.
Is because now in present day, a lot of what I'm seeing online is
that wasn't
people regurgitating or repeating that Claudia says, Al was talking about her, and that's when shit went wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought we had got over that. I'm guessing maybe we never did. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing. I don't know. But that's just.
There's been said that allegedly Al would contact producers, human resources, and do a lot of complaints and was a diva behind the scenes. Would that be true?
I don't know what I don't.
Now, this is interesting because Carlos, at this point, he has to. Carlos knows everything. Carlos knows everything at this point. Carlos and Funky are actually friends, and Carlos and Claudia are actually friends. So I can tell you that Carlos knows everything. So when he's asking this question in the way that he's doing it, I think he's doing the best he can not to show a bias, but Carlos is just as messy as the rest of us. You think that phone calls weren't made, and the fact that Carlos was guest hosting, I would not have been surprised that when everything was like going down, if they weren't asking him to do the show, or at least do the show, for a part-time. Carlos is known. He has a big channel. Technically, it would have made sense.
Know what was going on after I left. When I was there, from my vantage point, that wasn't a thing. I'm pretty confident in saying,
because I want you guys to watch the real interview. This is me just giving my commentary in between parts, but I want you guys to watch the full interview. That's why, Ramona.
That's probably something that came about after I left. But when I was there, that wasn't a thing. None of us liked the damn producers. If I'm being honest, so there was no buddying up to the producers because none of us liked them.
Now that part I did hear. That part I did hear. And if I can do my show without a producer, and Funky can do his show without a producer, and Arman can do his show without a producer, and Al can do his show without a producer, Funky being a talent, bringing in a certain amount of viewership, is requesting a raise or requesting his rate not go down. You can't do the show without talent. So why didn't Fox look at other places where maybe the money could have been reduced? And I'll just leave it at that. Now, I don't say remove all the producers, but I can tell you guys, if a show is top heavy on production and you can't afford to lose the talent, then maybe you guys have to figure out a way to accommodate people. If Funky's rate is going down, did production's rate go down? I know that I don't know the question to. I'm just asking y'all. I don't know that one. But I do know that production and talent not all production and talent got along.
That wasn't going on when I was there. Now, if it was going on after I left, I don't know.
What is it that you would like to say about your friendship with?
I'm not putting it all on the producers. I'm not putting it all on the producers because, as you heard, people were in HR all the time. Like there was friction. So it's not all the producers. And if I'm in production, I want all my money too. You think I give a damn if the talent is mad? No. Pay me my money too.
Is his perception that, again, he's a diva, he's this, and I know that you two are close. What would you say about his character and his personality and who he is that the world doesn't see or may not know?
Sean don't work for Fox Soul,
So I don't think, me personally, I don't think that Al is a diva. And he didn't exemplify diva qualities when we were there. Honestly and truthfully, when I was there, Al was the most insecure of the three of us. You know what I'm saying? And he was always kind of worried. You know what I'm saying? Like worried that he wasn't doing good, or worried that people didn't like him, or he always had to have his notes and stuff, and he always kind of felt a little inferior to Claudia and I, because he was like, you guys are more experienced than this. I did not experience any diva-like behavior when it came from Al. Like I said, after I left, I don't know what happened. And I can't speak about anybody else's relationship and experience. I have not experienced Al in that way. Me and Al, obviously,
as far as I know, Funky, and somebody said Funky is biased to Al. Probably, I don't know. I do feel like Funky and Al are actually good friends. So I don't think that he would come on here and spew hateful rhetoric about somebody who is technically his real friend. But I want to say this much. Somebody put in the chat that I'm biased. I have a lot of informants. I have a lot of people who drop things in my ear. One thing that I tell everybody across the board is I'm not here to destroy anybody. So if you watch my channel and that's what you're hoping for, you're probably not going to get what you expected. You probably got to move on down the road. But that does not mean that I won't extrapolate what I want to talk about and put that out there. And I have a pretty good track record of putting stuff out there that actually does come to fruition. So you can say Sean was my informant. That's okay with me. If Sean had ever said at any given point that I could put that out there, I would have said, this is my informant, this is Sean, this is what I got it from. But at the time, I was not allowed to as in anybody who comes to me and tells me I'm not allowed to disclose their information, then that's just what it is. When Sean wanted to come out and say he had told me some things, that's exactly what happened. But for me, I do my best not to have a bias. And that is why right now I am mostly a pariah. A lot of people don't like me. And the relationships that I, thought I had with the people at Foxhole, everybody was mad at me. I did one video and I got lit up. And between you and me, one time I got lit up so bad with the Foxhole stuff that I just said, fuck it. Middle of the night, I booked a trip, and 8 hours later, I was in New Orleans for Essence Festival. I wasn't even supposed to go to Essence, but I got lit up so bad, and I'm like, I got lit up for having an open panel. And I'm not even going to say that I wouldn't do it again, because every now and then I feel like if something affects me and it affects you and you guys want to talk and you want to talk freely, okay, that's all right. Continue. I'll just keep getting in trouble. That's all right. But that is some real shit that popped off after one of my open panels. People were very pissed at me.
We've got being LGBT in common. Al's a good time. He liked to drink, and he
pissed at me because I was not biased. And if that's why you pissed at me, I'm okay. I have set this up the way that I want to set this up. I'm messy, but I'm not messy in a way that tries to destroy anybody. That's why you see content creators who go in on each other don't typically go in on me, because I'm not set out to destroy. It wasn't even Sean. You would have thought. Sean is somebody that I actually know in real life. It wasn't even Sean. It was people who anyway, that's me giving y'all some inside stuff.
he liked to party, and those are things that I like to do. You know what I'm saying? And that really is the level of our relationship. Are me and Al on the phone telling each other our deepest, darkest secrets? No. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even talk to Al in about 2 or 3 weeks. I FaceTimed him last night, and he was out. He didn't answer the phone. So we're cool. This thing that me and Al are so damn close. I know we're not. Like, what I'm saying? I would like to be. I mean, our relationship is growing, but Al is just a good time. It's a good time. The same way me and you, bitch, meet me at the bar, bitch. Let's go have some drinks and eat. That is what Al is to me. He's a good time.
Yeah, and my time guest co-hosting, the times I've had, he was fine.
Yeah.
Al's cool. Al's great. I don't have any issues with Al. Al's a great person. Al's very prepared.
Yeah, but he got his notes and stuff.
And what I saw with this show that I love so much, I felt like
Al comes in as a subject matter expert. Funky comes in as the kitchen table talk, and Claudia comes in as the voice for women. I thought it was a perfect combo. That's why I watched the show.
it was the perfect balance.
It was.
I'm like, you're the wild card who, like, we'll know what he's gonna say. Claudia, great moderator, and Al brought the sophistication. And I thought it checked all the boxes.
And I never had an issue working with her. And I think even Claudia shared it. Even after I left, I was like, listen, guys, this particular situation didn't work out because of the contract. But in the future, if y'all ever want to, do something again, we had lightning in a bottle, Carlos. We really did. We really did. We did. We had lightning in the bottle. And honestly and truthfully, the right opportunity came around, and if we were able to recreate it under the right circumstances, I'd be open to it. It was fun. The culture needed it. And here was the thing that's unfortunate. There was the space was wide open. Wendy Williams, she gone. The Breakfast Club was in flux. Okay, they were auditioning 900 damn people at a time. That urban pop culture like space.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wanted Claudia to get the Breakfast Club.
That space was wide open, and it was ours for the taking.
It would have been a full circle moment since Jason Lee, Claudia Jordan, and Charlemagne actually started their own kind of like podcast radio show together. It would have been a full circle moment. There's going to be a video coming out that I'm doing. And okay, I'll leave. I don't want to say that yet.
It really was. Something else that was slightly frustrating too, and another reason why I decided to walk and not stick it out with Fox Soul is because nobody was giving us a clear direction on what we're doing. Are y'all taking this show to TV? We've been here now for 4 years. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Is the network growing? Is it? And every time we would ask questions, people would just talk in circles. And so another layer to me walking away is I don't need you to sit on YouTube. Okay. If anything.
Now let's get into that, because yes, he is true. But I was under the impression that they were about to go to television. And that's why when I did my initial review of the Fox Soul Tea-GIF Demise, I said, you were so close to making it to television. I don't know all the ins and outs of everything that they had in meetings and who they talked to and their agents and their managers and all that. I can say that if Al, Claudia, and Funky could have done their own thing and been allowed to even get the chance to do it, I do think that they would have been right on par with This Nation. This Nation is comprised of 3 unlike people, or 4 or 5 people who are not necessarily alike, who probably would not be in the same room with one another, given their opinions. And it's just in a more fast-paced, I would say fast-paced and a little bit more produced. But I think that Fox Soul Tea-GIF definitely could have been another This Nation, which is on syndicated television. I was rooting for that. Selfishly, I was rooting for that because when people like that make the move from YouTube to syndicated television, it's good for all of us.
I'm trying to elevate beyond YouTube. I don't need you for YouTube. And I'm not being cocky. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not trying to be any of those things. But the lion's share of the people watching are my audience. I brought these people here. You know what I'm saying? Like when Fox Soul started, they had everything they had going on. And here is the...
No, I do think that's true for YouTube, but I don't know. I think they had 7 different streaming platforms. So I don't know if I don't know like the ratings and everything. I don't know if Al and Claudia brought something that spoke more to I think it was like Tubi and Amazon Prime. I don't know all the ins and outs, but they were on 7 different streaming platforms outside of just YouTube. But I do think that Funky did bring the lion's share to YouTube. I do know that Claudia has had a name for herself. She's always working. And believe it or not, Al has like a very tenured past in television and production, just behind the scenes. And whether he's known for his ex and all that kind of stuff, it all plays into it. Whether he's known for his friendships with Nene, it all plays into it. What they had worked, and they should have been able to make it to television.
Proof in the pudding, because there were some incidences where, you know, people were feeling themselves and didn't want to give a bitch their things. Okay.
Somebody said past.
You had Queens with Cocktail, which was Vivica Fox, Selena Johnson, Lisa Ray, and Claudia Jordan. Undeniably, all 4 of those women individually have a much higher profile than I do.
Absolutely.
Undeniably.
Yeah.
But collectively, they couldn't even do the numbers that we were over there doing on Tea-GIF. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where your popularity per se ain't got shit to do with what's going on right here. You see what I'm saying? And when I left, the numbers left. Those were my people. Those were my people. So why am I going to just sit here with all of this going on? You know, the contract ain't looking too right, and just continue to let y'all leech off of my damn people when I can just take my people back to where they came from and keep the money. You see what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening is,
as I understand it, this is from Claudia. The Cocktails with Queen show was super expensive because you had somebody like Vivica Fox, who's technically considered A-list, especially in this type of space. It's one thing to create a name for yourself. It's another thing to be part of the Kill Bill franchise and now be on YouTube. So that goes back to, if the lion's share of viewership came from TGIF, then why weren't Funky Al and Claudia paid without losing a part of their per episode rate? Now, of course, there was Selena Johnson as well, and was it Diamond from the Players Club? Sorry, I love the Players Club. If you are new to the channel, you will know that. I'm saying, if you are not new to the channel, you'll know that I tried to have that be my quote in my high school yearbook. You got to use what you got to get what you want. And then somebody told the priest, who was the principal, that my quote was from the Players Club, and I got in trouble and all that, but whatever.
I'm like, well, I was already making whatever it is I was making. And then things got a little messy. I'm not going to lie. I started doing my show at 8 o'clock at the same time as theirs to be messy, bitch. I'm not going to.
See, I can appreciate that.
Yes.
We are messy.
Oh, yeah.
We can say, that was messy.
Yeah.
That other thing you're talking about.
I said, oh, really? Oh, bitch, I'll fix you.
When Funky first went on, and he had, I think, like 20,000 people in his chat, I said, this is messy. I'm glad he acknowledged the messy. That was messy.
I said, bitch, like Rasputia Lattimore said, she want to go down the slide. I'm going to show a bitch how to go down the slide. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, well, you know what, Q? You were already sitting in the chair at 8 o'clock every night any goddamn way. Keep it going. You know what I'm saying? You were over there doing this same job, getting $250 for them. You can just do it for yourself and make $5. You know what I'm saying? Keep all the money. And that's essentially what I did.
Okay. When you saw Arman's roast to Al, what was your first thought?
A battery was put in his back. A battery was put in his back. These are my thoughts. Can't prove it. Don't know for a fact. I thought a battery was put in his back. I thought it was deeply personal. I thought it was extremely unprofessional. I thought it was completely I thought it was gross. I thought it was gross. And the reason why I thought it was gross is because obviously having had work there, a lot of the
Right, we're not even at 1,000 likes. Definitely hit that like button if you are in here. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you've heard already, we don't really be trying to destroy people, but we are messy and we will get in your business. That's the disclaimer.
Things that he was saying, he had not even been there long enough to experience or even know what the fuck he was talking about. Okay. And it's just the things that were coming out of his mouth had trappings of somebody gave him this information. He simply had not been there long enough. And going back to our earlier conversation.
Now, if you have followed me, I said the exact same thing. I felt like, how could there be this much animosity or negativity that early on? Something just did not feel right with it. And I'll say this again. I do think that the roast had something to do with the cancellation of the show, but I don't think that Arman doing the roast was the reason that Fox Soul was canceled. To me, I really do feel like probably the ratings were down to some degree, and it just felt like they could not get back on the track. But I do not feel like Arman is the reason Fox Soul is canceled. If the new person is the reason that Fox Soul was canceled, then you would have just fired Arman. The fact that Arman did not get fired and they chose to cancel the whole show indicates that there were more deeper issues present.
When I was talking about the maturity piece, that's the thing right there. Like I laid out for Arman everything he needed to do to be successful at that show. And in my opinion, he went there and did the complete opposite. And I'm very disappointed in him for it. I am, because I rooted for you. I rooted for you when there were actually people working against you being there. And I informed him that there are people who don't want you there. There are people who are going out of their way to not have you here. Told him who the people were and everything. And then I told him everything he needed to do to be successful there. And you went up there and drank the Kool-Aid and got lost in the sauce and did the complete opposite. And if I'm being honest, was a major contributing factor, as far as I can see, as to why the shit got canceled.
You think it's his fault?
I don't think it's his fault. Okay. I don't think it's his fault. I think that he was a major contributing factor. That roast was just, in what world do you go to your job and do that? A mature person who was looking at the future of the collective, the show, and the energy of three people who have to get along, a mature person would have never done that. They simply would not have done that. You can't tear up the chemistry. There was no bouncing back from what was said to Al in that roast.
And not that you're speaking for Al. We all heard when he called you baby. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, again, guys, you guys.
Now, this ain't nothing I heard. I'll tell you if it's something I heard. This is not anything I heard. I would not be surprised if we see some form of a lawsuit from Arman to Fox Soul, because when Arman said that he went to HR and discussed these things and HR told him to go and talk to the person, why would Arman have to do HR's job? If I have an issue with a coworker, I would not feel comfortable with HR telling me to go talk to that person. No, you go talk to that motherfucker. You go let them know that we got a problem and how to fix it. I'm not going to go talk to the person who I might feel has done something to me. If anything, I would feel what would be appropriate is if HR goes to the person and says, this is what's been said to us. Can you give us your handle on the situation? And then HR comes in and then they moderate something just to say, we'll go talk to the person. Now, I don't know Arman, never heard, I don't know this man, but if I'm just going to take him at face value, that would be weird to me. And I feel like that would also further the issues, because now I'm coming to you. Now I didn't let you know that I went to HR on you. And now I'm telling you, HR, no, like, we got to talk and we got to work this out. That would add to the level of animosity, especially if there's already a level of animosity between the two of us. I didn't like that.
To have proof he's not messy. A messy bitch would have made sure that I got the exclusive. Al is on. I keep telling him I'm live, and he keeps talking. You literally said, stop. Mm-hmm. I'm live. Mm-hmm. I will call you back. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he was upset based on what we heard out of his own mouth. Mm-hmm. When it comes to that rose, I honestly was like, oh, okay, it's a rose. Because again, I don't know the history or whatever. I don't watch Tea-GIF. I did not watch.
I get this a lot. Mims, if you were on the show and it happened to you, like let's say somebody was in my ear and it's a small cast, it's not a big staff, or I think that production or HR doesn't like me, or rumors are going around. I'm a very measured person. I'm measured in corporate America and I'm measured on YouTube. I can't answer that question effectively because it's subjective to the person. How you may, you might bust some ass or throw a bottle. I don't know. I'm different. I would take it on the chin, continue to collect my check, but I would change my phone number. My coworkers would not need to have my phone number. We could laugh, hee hee, ha ha, whatever on camera, and then I would go home. That's how I would handle it. But I can't say how the next person would handle it because that is subjective to you. everybody, you know, is not as measured as I am in my approach to things. And a lot of people find fault in the fact that I am that measured. It is a high intense situation when you are in a live scenario with multiple people. You never know what's going to come out their mouth. That's why you see these people making this much money on reality TV start throwing hands, because once you've been embarrassed, once you have realized that there's some like backbiting, you never know how you're going to react. And more often than not, what you're going to get is people saying, you're not going to fucking punk me, and I'm about to show you. And that's exactly what happened. The roast should have never happened. I'm an Aquarius, Karen. The roast should have never happened. And I went back and I don't know. I think they thought it was like a cute thing. But if you are going to roast, whatever you're going to say should go through upper management first to show that, to say that this is okay. This is not a roast of like Tom Brady, where you have people who are worth 100 million, 2, 3, $1 billion. They don't give a goddamn what the television says they can and cannot say, or if they have a certain amount of celebrity. But this was Fox Soul. These people, we want these people to be friends. It was just not a good look.
TGIF enough to know that a lot of that was rooted in reality.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought like it was grossly exaggerated until I was informed that motherfucker, a lot of that was
all of it.
Yeah,
all of it. Like it was like, yeah.
When you learned that it was officially canceled, what was the first thought that went through? Like, was it a thought of sadness, or I told you so, bitch? Or
listen, I'm human. I have natural emotions. Vindicated.
I was sad.
You know, my first response was, "But had them hoes gave me my $250, the shit wouldn't have been canceled." I'm just keeping it real. I had them hoes gave me my $250 or put me on the damn health insurance, the shit wouldn't have been canceled. That was my first thought. You know what I'm saying? And then the second was like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, this just did not have to be like. I was disappointed in everybody. I'm like, y'all let the shit fall apart in 5 damn months after I left, 5 to 6 months. And then coming off the roast, I'm like, this shit just didn't have to be. I after feeling vindicated, I felt frustrated. I was like, because this is stupid. And y'all had something, and it could have taken everybody to the next level. Y'all could have, I could have been like Portia, took a season off and came back the next season. After them girls that got a TV schedule. I'm like, girl, I'm planning on maybe coming back. You know.
No, that was true.
What I'm saying, I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I was like, y'all hoes need y'all job. I was like, Arman, this is great next level for you. Al, you don't work in TV, and granted, you know, Claudia does her thing, she does well, but Claudia does like movies and stuff. That's gig work. You know, you get a gig here, you may not work for a few.
For all of them, and for me, and probably most of you, $250,000 is a lot of money, especially for not a lot of work.
Once you get another gig, it was a nice stable paycheck for everybody. I'm not reading, it's a nice stable paycheck. And I'm like, y'all fucked y'all check up over dumb shit. Who can't use an extra $250,000?
Baby, I don't care what you know. Make.
Okay, so let me tell you this. Now, this is just my opinion, right? Because I was a fan of TGIF. I watched Cocktails with Queens too. Think about this. If Funky had continued on with Fox Soul, let's say they do make it to network television. Funky, I guess he's in talks now to do his own like nighttime talk show. That could have been on Fox Soul. Fox Soul could have paid him, so it could have been at 7 Central, TGIF, and then Funky. Al has been doing like red carpets and stuff. Al could have had his red carpets segments and expanded on that. And Claudia is anywhere and everywhere. Claudia could have been the face of Fox Soul for everything. They could have definitely helped her get more radio gigs, morning show gigs. Fox is a very big company. Each one of these individuals has their own talent. They could have done that. I could have easily seen, after Funky left, Arman doing his own. Arman is really good with like the female rapper stuff. Arman could have been interviewing major artists and doing those segments on Fox Soul. You can really build talent out. I don't know where this faltered. And if it is minor, petty bullshit that you might say about your coworkers, I still stand 10 toes down. That is the most asinine shit that I have heard. What? I guess Carlos is going to need to interview Al, because we've kind of heard a little bit from Arman. We've definitely heard from Claudia. We've heard from Sean. We've heard now from Funky. I don't know that Al would. Al does come across extremely like professional. I don't know that he would do this, but I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos then called him. I would not be surprised if Carlos called him.
So I just feel like it was a dumb reason. And honestly and truthfully, I feel like the person that lost the most in the situation was Arman, because he had the most to gain from it.
Do you think he can move on from this?
Most definitely. Listen, your talent will always prevail. He's got the talent. Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. But I just feel like in this situation, he had the most to gain.
What's next for you, though? Because everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll paraphrase, because I really do want you guys to watch this. You know, it was messy, but it wasn't messy. It's probably a little messy. I do want you guys to watch it. Like I said, I have linked in the description of this video, this interview with Carlos and Funky. Definitely watch it. I thought it was a really dope interview. I was in there myself. I watched the entire thing. I feel like I'm still disappointed that they could not make this work. Let me see if I'm disappointed in these likes. Okay, we got to 1,000, but we got like 23 people in the chat, 2,300 people in the chat. Definitely hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We do our own thing around here. Margin, thank you so much for the super sticker. Jojo, thank you for the super sticker. Francis, thank you for the super sticker. And Jojo, again, thank you for the super sticker. I really do appreciate you guys. I appreciate, even if you cannot send super chats, I never ask anybody for anything. I just, other than a like and subscribe and put your notifications on. I hope that I don't get in trouble for this one, but you never know. I have decided that I know there's a lot of people who like my open panels. So at least 1 to 2 times a month, probably on the weekends moving forward, I'll be doing an open panel, and that'll be a completely open panel. I have never told you guys what you are or are not allowed to say, and nothing has changed. So I'll see you guys later. I got some stuff to do. I got to go swing by my mom's, but have a good day. I'm still upset that Fox Soul is off. Shout out to Carlos. And I do know I was in the chat. Thank you for the shout out, Carlos. I do not know him. I'm not on his payroll, but I do appreciate the shout out. When Funky said people thought he was on Carlos' payroll, I was like, well, shit, I get the same thing. I don't know him, but if you want to cut me a check, Carlos, I'm not opposed to it. Anyway, bye, y'all. Ain't nobody cutting me no free money.